Thanks, Dale.
It's hard to imagine this moment. And the words that come to my head are Tov L'Hodos LaHashem. We're grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all the chasadim that He has given Ruchama, me, He's given Eli, Helen, the entire mishpachos. I never thought when I hired my assistant rabbi, never had a dream, never, when we interviewed, and I interviewed a number of young men, he never told me about his younger son, younger brother. He didn't tell me about his younger son either at the time. His younger brother, Zevi, did not tell me anything about Daniel. I didn't ask, do you have a nice young brother for my daughter, Dina? But I must tell you, Tov L'Hodos LaHashem, they met in our sukkah, and it was 2 years ago, and their mother is the one that took an eye on Dina, and she became the shadchanit. And we're here tonight. Tov L'Hodos LaHashem. How grateful we are to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything He has done. So what am I supposed to tell the chassan and kala as they get ready in a few months to get ready to their chasana? Some good advice. So in this week's parsha, we all know the story, the unfortunate story of the Egel Hazav, of the golden calf. And we're referred to as an Am Kishei Orev, a stiff-necked people. And Rav Aaron Soloveitchik, Zichrono Livrocha, has a profound insight about that. Stiff-necked, he says, usually means stubbornness. But it doesn't make sense. It's an inappropriate description of what happened. Because there was more flexibility at that moment than any other moment. If you think about it, it takes tremendous flexibility to go from a spiritual high to a terribly depressing low. You have to change your entire personality. And they did. So how can we say stubbornness? And Reb Aaron Zichrono Livrocha says the following. He says, we're misunderstanding the whole story. Am Kishei Oref means you're stiff-necked. You know what happens when you're stiff-necked? You have bad vision. Because you can only look one way. You can't turn. And you can't turn around and see the moment of glory that was just behind you. Because if they weren't stiff-necked, they would have been able to turn around and have an enormous vision. And then they wouldn't have sinned. And Rav Aaron says, that's our problem. When we only have one direct vision, and we're not willing to see the wide vision of the Brias HaOlam, of the great creation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has created. And we don't all individually have our own vision of that great glory, we have missed the boat. If that is true of Klal Yisrael, it's certainly so much more true for each individual. And I don't think there's a better message to this chassan and kala. Because this chassan and kala have an enormous vision. Daniel, you come from a home of an enormous vision. Of a bubby and with parents who've raised you and your brothers to be enormous in the Torah. Young Talmidei Chachamim who love Torah. Your parents love Torah. They love it. They're involved in it. They're chesed. There's one theme that you hear about the Goldbergs whenever you encounter anyone. This is the finest family you will find. The sweetest people you will meet. Independently, people will tell me that. Independently, people will tell Ruchama that. That's who you come from. With an enormous vision of chesed, an enormous vision of Torah. And the truth is that your kala has that enormous vision because she's followed her mother's advice. And you know, she's very close to her mother, just like her sister. They're all glued at the hip. And they follow their mother literally. But you have each found the perfect match. The perfect match. My daughter has chosen very wisely. She's chosen a young man who, in this very short time, have literally fallen in love with. we adore you, and we are delighted you are going to be our second son-in-law. And we think that Dina really was wise in who she chose, because you have this enormous vision. And I must tell you, you have found the right match. Our daughter, Dina, is a lot of fun. She is a young lady who has a vision for Klal Yisrael that's bigger than this world. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We went to breakfast together when you were in January in LA, and we had a lovely time together. I really didn't tell you all about Dina, because we would have been still there if I did. But Dina has a dream to change this world. And she needs a young man who's going to change it with her. And I think you both found each other perfectly. Or in your words, Daniel, she's a doer. She's really a doer. And together, you're going to build this tremendous bayis nema, because that's what you both have seen and grown up in. So tov lahodos laHashem. Where I begin, I end. Grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that I decided to choose Zev Goldberg as my assistant rabbi. And a month after our oldest daughter got married, it was Sukkot, and his parents came to LA to visit. Tov lahodos laHashem that Ruchama invited them to the sukkah. Tov lahodos laHashem that the mother looked and she said, this might be a good match for my Daniel. Tov lahodos laHashem that they found each other, and I'm going to let all of you in on a little secret. They actually were engaged even before they started dating. They were, if anybody knows them, you know what I'm talking about. They have been in love from the moment before they began dating. And when they did begin dating, I said to Ruchama, this is it. And she says, how do you know? I said, look in your daughter's eyes. This is it. And look at Daniel's eyes and you will see it. So Tov lahodos laHashem, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Mechutanim, for doing everything tonight and always, and raising three wonderful, wonderful young men. And one will continue to be the assistant rabbi, but one's going to be my son-in-law. Thank you, Mazel Tov.